Google now has a foldable phone in the face of the Pixel Fold, but how does it compare to Google's traditional flagship phone, the Pixel 7 Pro? Is the battery life as good, and can the Pixel Fold take photos as good as the Pixel 7 Pro? In this video, we explore the design differences, the comfort of using a foldable phone versus a regular slab phone, the software experience, the performance, the battery life, and the camera quality. And we also don't forget that the Pixel Fold has to live to a high standard. After all, it costs a whopping $1,800 to buy, and you can have two Pixel 7 Pros and change left in the pocket for one Pixel Fold. But first, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. As you know, making these videos takes a lot of time and effort. We count on your support. Google has done a great job slimming down the Pixel Fold, and even when folded, the phone is not much thicker than the regular Pixel 7 Pro. We think Google made the right call with slimming down the Pixel Fold. The company explains it even had to move parts of the hinge to the edges of the phone to make it all as thin as it is, and the trade-off was much larger bezels around the display, but we think it was worth it, and we'd rather have a thinner foldable phone than slim bezels. However, one thing you can't get around is just how heavy the Pixel Fold is. Weighing exactly 10 ounces versus 7.5 ounces for the Pixel 7 Pro, the Pixel Fold is more than 30% heavier, and you notice that. But probably the biggest concern for most people with a phone like the Pixel Fold is its durability. Foldable phones still tend to break more often than regular phones, and they do not have dust protection, which is the biggest enemy of folding screens. You have to be a bit more careful with a folding phone and possibly get some form of insurance. As for the Pixel 7 Pro, it has IP68 water and dust protection rating and is very solidly put together. Regarding the performance, there is no difference in the chip on these two phones. They both come with the latest Google-made Tensor G2 processor, and they also have the same 12 gigabytes of RAM. Both run very smoothly, with well-optimized animations, which help for that refined feel of using the interface. However, one interesting detail is that the Pixel Fold does tend to heat up quite easily with more intense tasks, and when this happens, you do notice quite a bit of stutter. The two phones come with Android 13 in the form that Google envisioned it, and we like this clean UI with no duplicate apps. When it comes to software updates, both get the standard Google treatment, 3 years of major OS updates and 5 years of security updates. This is fine, but we honestly expected a bit more out of the pricey Pixel Fold. That would have been a nice touch. As for the software, the main benefit of having a foldable phone with a larger screen is that it just makes split-screen multitasking much more enjoyable. Interestingly, Google has limited multitasking to just 2 apps on the Pixel Fold, unlike the Samsung Galaxy Fold, which can do 3 apps and a floating one on top of that. Most people should be okay with that, but we imagine some power users might be a bit disappointed. Also, just having the app dock on the Pixel Fold makes it much faster to multitask compared to the traditional UI on the Pixel 7 Pro. Google says it tried to bring the flagship Pixel 7 Pro camera experience to the Pixel Fold, and to do that, it includes a very similar triple rear camera system. You have a 1x main shooter, an ultra-wide camera, and a 5x zoom periscope-style lens on both phones. However, there are some differences between the two. The Pixel Fold's 48-megapixel main camera uses a smaller sensor compared to the Pixel 7 Pro, a slight downgrade because of just how thin the folding phone is. The Fold also uses a 10.8-megapixel 5x zoom telephoto camera, and that one also has a smaller sensor size than the 48-megapixel 5x zoom on the Pixel 7 Pro. At least the ultra-wide cameras are of a similar size on the Pixel Fold and Pixel 7 Pro, but they are in fact different sensor, and the Pixel Fold does not get as wide as the 7 Pro. Despite the difference in sensor size, Google has succeeded making the Pixel Fold camera as similar as possible to the Pixel 7 Pro. Both these phones have what we call the Pixel look. Wide dynamic range, great amount of detail, and white balance is on point too. While the main camera is 48 megapixels on the Pixel Fold and 50 megapixels on the Pixel 7 Pro, neither phone can shoot pictures in the full resolution. Instead, you get so-called pixel bin shots at a 12 megapixel resolution. What's also typical with these pictures is that they are not quite as vivid as your typical smartphone shots, but we don't think that's a bad thing at all. They look more realistic after all. In low light, also there is no huge difference between the Pixel Fold and Pixel 7 Pro. Occasionally you can get higher detail out of the larger Pixel 7 Pro sensor, but the difference is minimal. The Pixel Fold also does an excellent job with zoomed photos, and once again the differences from the Pixel 7 Pro are minimal if any. Images at 5x and even 10x look great, with a solid amount of detail, and these are among the best zoomed shots in the industry. However, since the Pixel Fold lacks a 3x zoom lens, close-range zoom, 2x to 4x, does not look as good as on other competitors. One issue, however, that persists on Pixel phones is portrait mode. The Pixel Fold lacks detail and oversharpens images significantly in that particular mode, resulting in poor-looking shots, especially at 2x zoom. The ultra-wide shooter on the Pixel Fold is a bit narrower than on the Pixel 7 Pro. However, the colors and dynamic range are practically identical, and the narrower field of view of the Pixel Fold helps avoid the corner detail problems that we occasionally see on the Pixel 7 Pro. The Pixel Fold supports video recording of up to 4K 60 quality, and you can freely switch between all cameras while recording. Overall, video quality is solid. Colors look almost identical to what you get from the Pixel 7 Pro. Our only complaint has got to be the stabilization. For some reason, footage from the Pixel Fold appeared a bit jittery, even while using the main 1x camera. And it became very jittery while recording at 5x to the point of making that zoom lens quite useless for video. We were definitely surprised by that, as the Pixel 7 Pro, while no champion, does better in terms of the video stabilization at all levels. And the Galaxy Z Fold 4 has even better stabilization than that. In low light conditions, you have a lot more noise on the Pixel Fold compared to the Pixel 7 Pro, so the video is definitely a slight downgrade. There is no major difference in the audio quality between the Pixel Fold and the Pixel 7 Pro, as both have a good amount of punch for a smartphone and get sufficiently loud. Similarly, haptics are nice and tight while typing, just as you'd expect out of a flagship. But for the Pixel Fold, we noticed they might be a bit insufficient and weak, and we did miss a few calls simply because we could not sense the haptic feedback for the call. There is no major difference in the audio quality between the Pixel Fold and the Pixel 7 Pro, as both have a good amount of punch for a smartphone and get sufficiently loud. A foldable phone design makes it much harder to include a larger size battery, so that's why we were not surprised to see that the 5,000 mAh battery on the Pixel 7 Pro is bigger than the roughly 4,820 mAh cell on the Pixel Fold. During the tests, the Pixel 7 Pro overcomes the Pixel Fold when it comes to simple tasks like web browsing and watching videos on YouTube. For 3D gaming, however, the Pixel Fold actually lasted a bit longer. In real life, you should expect both phones to last you through an average day of use with no major issues, but don't expect to see 2 full days off the charger. Speaking of charging, the Pixel 7 Pro does have the higher speeds. If you charge with a cable, the Pixel 7 Pro tops up at up to 23 watt versus 21 watt for the Pixel Fold, and the difference is even bigger with wireless charging, where the Pixel 7 Pro supports 23 watt versus just 7. 5 watt speeds for the Pixel Fold. That's quite the difference for wireless charging. It's hard to compare to phones with a completely different form factor, but if you are like me, you might be facing this choice. The defining factor here is to know just how much will you use and need that larger screen on the Pixel Fold. In our experience, nearly 70% or 80% of our usage would happen on the cover screen of a folding phone, and only about 20% or 30% of the time we would use that bigger screen. And yes, we would enjoy this a lot. So if you think you would be playing games or doing something else that would utilize the main screen more, you might be better off with the Pixel Fold. But if most of your usage is social media and texting, with occasional heavier usage, you might actually prefer the convenience of the regular Pixel 7 Pro, which weighs less and is just more reliable, sturdily built.